So today I'll be showing you how basically what are the different components of a computer. As you can see that if we see the block diagram of a computer, then we cannot match or map the components of the computer with the real computer. So we'll be discussing the purpose of this course is to make you aware of the real components of the computer that is used to build by some other components which is not there in the block diagram. So people when you today see the block diagram of the computer, that there is a processor, there is input device, there is output device, there is memory, and there is a CPU or the processor. So basically how those things we can map those processor, where it is there, where it is inbuilt, we cannot map with the block diagram to the in the real world scenarios. So basically this is called a motherboard, one component of the computer, which is nothing but a board that connects all the devices that we have discussed previously. So this board is basically responsible for connecting the other components of the computer. So here you can see there are lots of slots are there. There are places for processor is there. I/O devices slots are there. Slots for RAM is also there. Slot for RAM is also there. So let us see basically what things are there in which place. So this place you can see a bigger size place. There are lots of holes are there. So that is the place basically where your CPU is placed or the central processing unit is placed. So this place, if you place the processor here, so it will be matched into the pin. So particularly need to be aware which socket it is and whether what kinds of processor this motherboard supports. So we can place the CPU, then after that using this key we can jam it, and it will be intact with this board. So this is the most awaited thing, that is the central processing unit. So this is how a real processor looks like. This is a AMD Athlon processor. Somehow we are aware about the Intel processor. So Intel processor is also there. You know there are lots of companies used to manufacture processor. Intel, Advanced Micro Devices is also one of them. So when this processor is fitted here, you can place the processor here. It will be fitting in the board. After that we can jam it, then it's done. So this is the place where is basically your processor is placed. So this chip is basically the processor, which is considered the head of the computer. So computer does not mean only that there is one CPU is there, one memory is there. It's basically connects a collection of all the components. There is CPU, there is memory, there is input device, there is output device. So all those things basically makes your computer. So this is the CPU that we used to see in the block diagram, where it is placed in this place. So it is connected to all other devices internally using this board. Now the thing is that when we used to run the computer, when the CPU works, it used to get heated, and sometimes that heat reaches about 90 degrees or even 100 degrees. Now if the CPU is heated in such a way, then it might stop working. That's why we need to cool it. So there is no such other cooling technology that the CPU will be automatically cooled down. So that's why a separate fan is there. So that should be placed on the CPU. And above the CPU, and there is a jamming technology is there. So whenever the CPU is placed, so we can jam this fan whose only task is to cool down the CPU. So this is basically the fan. This is a low power fan, and you can see that lots of uh, steel plates are there whose only task is to distribute the temperature from this processor to those slots, such the heat can be transmitted very fast. And the fan is there above that, whose only or sole task is to cool down the CPU. So when the CPU is getting heated, the temperature is basically spread to those components, those steel plates, and since it is distributed, the fan is ultimately cooling it down. So ultimately the whole thing is cooling down the CPU. So whenever the temperature reaches about above 29 degrees or there is a threshold temperature, the fan automatically starts working. So it automatically cools down the CPU. So it gets power from some of the places here. Here are some pin you can see where it can be installed, and from this place the fan is getting power, and it moves at a very high speed. It rotates at a very high speed, maybe around 2000 to 2600 revolution per minute. So this is the place where CPU is placed. So we know that where the CPU is placed. The next one is the thing, where is our memory is placed. As you know, in case of computer there are two kinds of memories. One is called the RAM, main memory, or physical memory, or random access memory. Another kind of memory is there, that is the secondary memory, that is installed in the computer. Secondary memory, that is a non-volatile memory. A hard disk is installed. So let us see where those kinds of memory are installed. So here you can see that there are two slots. These yellow slots are there. There are two slots. So these slots are basically for the physical memory or the main memory or the RAM. So here we have a RAM. This is a RAM or the random access memory. So you can see it. The size of a RAM or the random access memory can be typically around 2 GB or 4 GB. So the manufacturer usually specifies how many GBs of RAM can be installed in a particular slot. So in this slot the RAMs are basically installed. So in this motherboard it supports only basically 2 RAM slots. So if the RAM is size of 2 GB, then if it is only 2 GB size, then the ultimate memory of the computer will be 2 GB. So if you install 2 GB, then the ultimate memory, physical memory of the computer will be 4 GB. So here is basically the CPU is placed above CPU, one fan is placed to cool down the CPU. So that's the thing. And the next one is the memory, that is the main memory, that is the physical memory or the RAM, which is placed into the board in this place. So similar kinds of slots are available in different kinds or different places in different kinds of motherboards. So it may look a bit different, but the seeing the slot we can identify that this is the place for installing the RAM or the random access memory or the main memory or the physical memory. Now the characteristics of these kinds of memory, that is this RAM or random access memory, is that when the power is on, some information is there, so it will be retaining that information. When the power is off, if some information is there within the RAM, then all the information will be lost. That means all information, when the power is gone, from the power is gone, then all the information in the RAM will be lost. So that's why it is called a volatile memory. If power is gone, whatever information is there, that is lost. So where our ultimate information is stored, so there is a separate devices are there, which is called the secondary memory. Here in our case, there will be a hard disk which stores all the information. That is a permanent memory, where if some information is written, so it will be written throughout. So let us see where is hard disk is installed. So here we can see some ports are there. This is the place. This is one port, that is a 24-pin connector. That is a 24-pin connector for connecting, giving power to the motherboard. So this power is basically given from a SMPS, which supplies DC power to this board. So this 24-pin power will be connected from the SMPS to this motherboard, because the ultimate power in this motherboard is coming from only from that switch mode power system or SMPS, that will be showing next. Here you can see another port is there for connecting the hard disk or a secondary memory. So lots of other ports are there also. Here you can see another 4 ports are there. These ports are called SATA port. SATA means Serial Advanced Technology Attachment, and these are called PATA port, Parallel Advanced Technology Attachment. Previously, the hard disk that used to manufacture, they used to have some PATA port. So parallel port, it's a parallel port. So a ribbon is to connect this port with the hard disk. So lots of pins are there. There are almost 32 pins are there for connecting the hard disk, so for transferring data from the hard disk to this place, to the CPU or all other places where it is required. So this is the next generation technology, that is the SATA, Serial Advanced Technology Attachment, or the SATA port. So this port is also used to connect the hard disk. This port is also used to connect the hard disk or other devices which has a SATA port for transferring data from that device to this CPU or other places in this board. Now what is the difference between these two ports, this PATA port and the SATA port? The difference is in the technology. The first and foremost advantage of the SATA port is that it is faster than the PATA port. A SATA port typically supports 66 MB, 100 MB and 133 MB of data transfer, whereas a SATA port starts with minimum 150 Mbps, 300 Mbps as well as 600 Mbps. Today some ports are available, that is Thunderbolt, that supports even up to 5 Gbps. So those kinds of ports are today available. So this is the main difference. Another difference is that in case of SATA port, as you can see, the ribbon will be number of pins in the ribbon will be higher. So it used to distract external air flowing into the computer, and it is not needed to for the flow of air within the computer, because as you know, the CPU is there and other places are there where heat sink is there, they used to get heated. So if air does not flow, the components will be also getting heated. So it basically controls the hinders the flow of air into the system, whereas a SATA port, SATA cables, which we can see, this is a SATA cable. So this can be connected using a SATA port. The size of these kinds of SATA cable is quite more smaller than that of the PATA cable, whereas we have some PATA cable, these kinds of things. So you can see the difference. We can PATA cable, we can see the difference. This is basically one cable for connecting the hard disk. We don't have the cable for this PATA. This is one cable for connecting a floppy disk drive. So these kinds of ribbons are there. So it basically hinders the flowing of data. Another thing is also true is that the size of PATA cable can be a maximum of 18 centimeter, whereas the size of SATA cable can be 3.3 feet, maybe 1 meter. So these are the main difference between the SATA port and the PATA port. Another thing you can see, a rounded place. This rounded place is consisting a battery. This is a CMOS battery. When you used to switch on the computer, then you can see that our date is also there. Date, the time is automatically updated. But the question is, when you are switching off the computer and there is no power, when you are switching off the computer, there is no power. So how this clock of the computer is operating? The main culprit is the CMOS battery. This CMOS battery basically keep alive the clock of the computer. So this is exactly the battery that you will be finding into some of the watches, some of the wall watches. This is a 3-volt battery, so this depends from motherboard to motherboard. So this is the CMOS battery, this is a lithium battery. So whenever you used to place a CMOS battery and the computer is switched on, it automatically charge itself. So if you do not operate the computer for a long time, then what happens, it may not be keeping the clock of the computer alive. So CMOS battery is very important thing to keep the clock of the computer alive. So this is the thing. So another set of slots here, as you can see, there are various slots. You can see that this is there are slots like PCI slots are there. There is one AGP slots are there for additional graphics card. One PCI Express slot is also there. This is a port for connecting a floppy disk drive. Today we are not aware of the floppy disk drive, but in the previous technology, previously when we used computer, then there was no CD-ROM drive. The concept of CD-ROM drive was not present at those days. People used to use some another kinds of secondary memory, that is floppy disk, and they used to insert a floppy disk in the floppy drive to access some data in the floppy disk. We can store some data into the floppy disk. We can store some data from the floppy disk to the hard drive. So these are the things that is going on this side. Let's come to the famous side where basically we used to connect the IO ports, where the IO ports are there in the computer. So this is the place where all the ports are there. So here you can see there are two ports are there. Two ports are there. These are called PS2 ports, which is used to connect serial keyboard or mouse. Today some of the mouse also used to connect to some USB ports, but connecting the mouse or keyboard using some PS2 port is very common in the previous days. So these are called PS2 port. PS2 means this came from the definition of IBM Personal System 2. From that term, basically that port name is adopted. There are 6 pins, one for power, one for ground, another and other for other. Basically it is not connected. So these are PS2 ports. Using PS2 port we can connect some keyboard or some mouse. So this port is basically for that dedicated purpose. So in the upper side you can see one port is there. That is a long port. Lots of pins are there. This is the parallel port. That is used to connect some line printers. Previous days when used to print some documents using some line printers, some dot matrix printers. So dot matrix printer they used to have some these kinds of interface. A parallel port is required for connecting a dot matrix printer, some line printers. So the quality of printing was not good, but today in the previous days that was the only option to print some document. So they used to be connected to these ports. Even today, if some dot matrix printer is there, if it has some parallel port, that is used to be connected to some parallel port. Here you can see another set of ports. One port, this port is for the connecting the VGA cable, for connecting a monitor or projector. Through this port basically data is coming to your monitor from your output. Monitor, as you know, that is a output device. So through this port your data is coming to the monitor. So whatever you can see in the monitor, whatever picture you are seeing, all data is coming through this VGA port. In some of the computation you may not be finding these kinds of video ports, because today the technology advanced because the advancement of the technology, these ports may not be finding. These ports may be replaced by some HDMI port. Another port is there, that is a serial port. Here you can see two small ports. You need to notice it very carefully. Two small ports are there. These are called USB ports. USB port means universal serial bus. USB port, that means universal serial bus. So that is a very important port today. Most of the devices are connected, are having some USB ports. So if you have lots of USB ports, then you can connect those devices using those USB ports, and the speed of the USB port is also very high compared to the other parallel ports as well as the serial port that we have seen. So it can be connected using those USB ports. Here also you can see another set of ports are there. In the last there are two USB ports are there. First USB port and another set of another USB ports are there. That means in total you can see there are 4 USB ports in this motherboard. There can be more number of USB ports depending on the type of the motherboard. So these are USB 2 ports because this motherboard has only USB 2 ports. Today some of the motherboards have some USB 3 ports also. Then the next thing, so notice it carefully. This is a larger port than that of the USB port. So this is where our RJ45 cable that is used to connect the computer to the internet. This is very port, LAN port. So this is the LAN port to connect the computer to the internet. So that is a very important port. So where the RJ45 jack is connected. Here we can see another 3 ports are there. First, second, third. These 3 ports are for one for the line out, that means for the speaker, another for the mic in for the audio input, as well as another for audio output for connecting some headset. So 3 ports are there, one for the speaker, one for the microphone, one for another for the headset for getting the voice from the computer. That means when you are listening to music using some headset, so these 2 ports can be used. When you are training the computer using you are giving the computer some instruction using voice, so the microphone can be used. Another port is there that is used to connect some speaker. So you can see there are 3 ports here, one for audio in, another 2 for audio out. So a 3.5 mm jack can be connected to these ports to get the audio in or out. The important port is the LAN port, that is the RJ45 cable. Where it is connected, the machine is basically connected to the internet. These are the USB port. USB means universal serial bus. So this port is the VGA port. This port is a parallel port that is used to connect some line printers. There is also a serial port is there. There is also 2 serial ports are there. These are called PS2 port. This PS2 name is adapted from IBM Personal System 2. So that is used to connect some keyboard or mouse that is having PS2 interface. So these are the things basically that is associated in the motherboard. Here we'll be checking lots of other chips or places there, which is not important, as I am telling you that the purpose of this course to make you aware of the components of the computer, not to make you aware for how to become a technician, how to manufacture those things, but you must be aware that what thing is there inside a computer, what thing is basically making our computer the original look is very important. That's why I am discussing all those things. Second, I am repeating, this is the processor and this is the slot, basically where the processor is installed. This is the place where your RAM is installed, the physical memory. We can see some RAM on the random access memory. So this is the printed circuit board. Typically the size of a RAM can be 2 GB, 4 GB in size. So that can be installed here. So when it is installed, then the whole memory will be available to the computer. It's a volatile memory. That means whatever you used to write in the RAM, whatever you used to, that is basically these kinds of RAMs are only used for program execution. That means program execution is happening in the physical memory or in the RAM. Whereas when some hard disk is attached to the computer, that is only used to store some data permanently, but the program execution is basically done in the RAM. This is a volatile memory. Since this is a volatile memory, so whatever information you store in the RAM, that will be lost after you switch off the computer. So that's why some other devices, some secondary memory devices are required, non-volatile hard disk, to store the data. So when the computer is switched on, basically data is coming from the hard disk to your main memory, that is the RAM, where from the CPU can access that data. The CPU will be accessing the data of the RAM, modifying it, manipulating the data of the RAM, then finally rewriting the data to the hard disk. So let us see the structure of a hard disk.